You are listening to 40 Weeks with Vanessa Merton, host of the Pregnancy Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the 40 Weeks podcast. Welcome to week 39. Your little baby, who was as long as a stalk of rhubarb last week, is almost ready to make their debut into the world, and this week they're as big as a mini watermelon. Your little one is measuring 19.6 inches or almost 50 centimeters, and they weigh 6.8 pounds or about 3,083 grams. At week 39, your baby is full term. This means that labor can come at any time and your little one should be fully developed. Chances are your little guy or girl is head down, and with all the weight that they have been gaining and the growing they have been doing, they probably don't have too much room to move around. Your baby's brain is still growing at an astonishing rate, and it will continue to grow at this crazy pace for the first 3 years. Complete pigmentation of your little one's skin occurs soon after birth. No matter how dark-skinned he or she will be eventually, right now your baby's skin has finally changed from pink to white thanks to a thick layer of fat that has been deposited over the blood vessels. Do you feel like you are just waiting around to go into labor? One telltale sign of labor is your water breaking. This can happen as a slow leak or a sudden gush. Of course, in the movies, it's always a dramatic event in which there is a sudden gush somewhere really public that makes a big scene. Luckily for you, it seldom happens that way in real life. Some other signs of labor are diarrhea or nausea, the loss of your mucus plug, and pink or red tinged discharge. Red or pink tinged discharge can be a sign of the capillaries rupturing from the dilation and effacement of your cervix. Keep in mind that discharge does tend to increase as your pregnancy progresses. What you are looking for is a sudden major change in the color or consistency. Do you know exactly what the signs of labor are and how to tell when you're in labor or if you're just having fake contractions? We cover all of this in episode 18 in detail on the Pregnancy Podcast. If you want to pop over and listen to that at pregnancypodcast.com/episode 18. If you listen to that episode, you will be a pro on distinguishing between fake Braxton Hicks contractions and true labor contractions. If you are considering an induction, there's an episode on the Pregnancy Podcast all about inductions at pregnancypodcast.com/episode 20. And that covers all of the ways that you can medically induce labor and the pros and cons of each method. There's also an episode on inducing labor naturally. There are some things that you can do at home to naturally coax your body into going into labor, and you can listen to this on the Inducing Labor Naturally episode at pregnancypodcast.com/episode 21. Tip for dad, labor is a marathon. It is one of the most physically and emotionally challenging workouts that your partner will ever go through. Don't think that you just get to sit back and relax while all of this is going on. It is going to be a challenge for you, and you can expect to need to be there both physically and emotionally for the entire duration of the event. You are a huge part of the birth of your baby. You are the cheerleader, the coach, the trainer, and major support. You need to be well rested and prepared to be present for the entire thing. Thank you for tuning in. Show notes for this episode can be found at pregnancypodcast.com/week 39. Next week is your due date and your baby could arrive at any time. Until then, I wish you the very best for your pregnancy journey. There are so many awesome resources available to you at pregnancypodcast.com, and you can sign up with your email address and your due date to get a weekly email with a link to the episode for your specific week every week in your inbox. I look forward to seeing you in the Pregnancy Podcast Facebook group, which is a great place not only to connect with some other parents-to-be, but also to be able to ask questions and get answers specific to things that you are dealing with and planning for your pregnancy and birth.